Good morning. Good morning. How you doing this morning? What's up, Sun Slapper? How y'all doing this morning, man? This is the Trust the Process YouTube page, and we in an edition of Sun Slappers, right? And Sun Slappers is a community of folks who get up. We like to greet the sun. We like to walk into the room. Let me turn this up a little bit. We like to walk into the room, and we like to walk into our day first. And so sometimes we like to start off with just a little inspiration or motivation or just a little some key points, and then hopefully our prayer is that it helps you to get to throughout the day. It helps you get to a point where it helps you walk into that room. It helps you walk into work a little bit more better. It helps you to drop off the kids at school. It helps you to, have a thought process of we are going to win the day. We are going to take over our day. We are going to set our day. And so again, this is Trust the Process YouTube page. I'm Gil Garrett. Thank you so much, Mr. Trust the Process himself. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not had an opportunity to go to the YouTube page, please go like, share, and subscribe to that particular page because, it helps us to grow the community and people like yourself. And we're also in line to now launch the other half of Mr. Education, right? So we're going to be talking about all things around public education, all things around private, suburban, rural. I spent over 2 decades in education, still working in education, a consultant. And so for me, what I'm saying, there's some information that I think that needs to be put out there that hasn't been talked about from the perspective of board governance, exactly what that is. I know there's a lot of talk about getting on school boards and why you should be on school boards and you love the kids and all that other kind of no, 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 no. When I tell you, it really breaks down to as simple as business and also your love for kids and making sure that they have an education and knows, everything that you're supposed to be doing for children, get into the classroom to assist with that. And the classroom just doesn't consist of just teachers. Do you understand that even before the kid gets to the classroom, they got to get on the school bus, or they are getting a lunch. They're being greeted, because of the times that we in, by PAOs or school resource officers. They're being greeted by the principal. So before they even sit down and even get the instruction of the day, parents are having conversations with them before they put their backpack on. And so we are going to launch Mr. Education starting in January. And of course, I'll be using my home school district where I spent a lot of time, Pontiac School District, as examples. And if, people, I'm going to put this out here right now, you're more than welcome to come on the show. You're more than welcome to chime in if you have anything else, if you want to say something different than what I'm saying. But I've spent 24 years in this district, and it's the perfect example, I believe, of how we see success and how we work through some of the things difficult things and difficult conversations. So we're gonna start that in January. But listen, we're not here for that. We are here for Sun Slappers. And again, we started off last week. We had a little conversation about where I started in this whole aspect of being a father, right? You know what I'm saying? And my why. And so we talked about that, and we talked about, at times having a mentor, which is my grandfather, and having my idol, who I looked up to. So that's why I got into RLTC. And then we talked about even keeping the receipts. We even talked about having, your friends. Who are your friends, right? You gotta make, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And so this is me, Chuck, Kev, and Donnie. And y'all, guess what? I found the first manual for Alpha Omega Christian Fraternity in Incorporated, co-ed Alpha Omega Co-ed Christian Fraternity Inc. I found the first manual. I got to share that. I got to make sure I share that. And so we talked about that. Then we also talked about how, when you built up and being trained through emotions. And I was a football player. You could be, You could be a chess player. You can find your emotions in, if you if you like cooking, whatever your thing is, right? It helps to build who you are, your character and standard. I've always been that kind of guy that's just want to go after it. Put me in, coach. I'm gonna go. If it's fourth down and one, I'm shutting it down. That's always been me. And so this week starting off, it's a Thanksgiving week, and I want to talk a little bit about just nothing that you've been through will be wasted. Nothing that you've been through will be wasted. Gil, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? So this is a picture. This is a picture of me and my wife. This is a picture of me and my wife. And I had turned 35 years old right here in this picture. I had turned 35. And it was the first time I'm going to put this. It was the first time that I ever had a woman really directly challenge my bravado and go into a space that many didn't. Now, not saying this is not to put down anybody else, anything like, but this, my wife, and at that particular point in time, I went to my brother and I told my brother, I was like, look, man, that's me, dog. It was my 35th birthday party. My brother had arranged everything. He had produced this party for me. And if you was there, you was there. If you wasn't, whoo boy, did you miss that time we had. And none of who I have become had came to fruition yet, right? So it was the falling in love with potential, right? I believe she saw potential. Like, women have a knack of seeing potential, but a lot of women don't have a knack of bringing that potential out and making it a reality. And sometimes they don't know how to do it directly, and that's okay. But a lot of times, if men are honest, we know what we need from a significant other. And, a lot of times we compromise. We compromise on that. But how did we get from there to here, right? How did we get from there to there? How did that happen? I'm sorry, I had to cut that off. How did that happen? How do you get from, hey, she walked in the club, she caught your eye, boom, you there, to get into in front of that pastor, that aisle? Well, that was about a 17-year journey. It didn't happen overnight. Unlike people want to explain or have this false fairy tale that, oh yeah, it just happened and boom, 3 years went by and we was there. We was where we needed to be. Man, you lying, bro. Like, you wasn't where you needed to be. You wasn't where you needed to be. Like, that's not, I call it false advertising. I call it false advertising, because how did you get to that point, right? Like, how did you get to that? What were the things that you used to get to where you needed to be? Where were you aiming? What was the goal? What was the set? What was the things that you had to go through? Sorry, I'm having some difficulties here. But nonetheless, I'm gonna keep going. What were the things? What were the challenges? What made you stay? Nothing you went through will be wasted. What I mean is, again, I came with a bunch of mess, man. I was broken. You couldn't tell in this picture though. You couldn't tell in this picture. I was broken. You couldn't tell in this picture I was depressed. You couldn't tell in that picture that I had plenty of thoughts of, just ending it, taking my own life. You couldn't tell in that picture. And at 35, I probably had just, I wouldn't say double digit as far as millionaire status, but just money. Like, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about having a place to stay. It wasn't about having the best of the best. It wasn't having any of that. It was that I lost me. I lost me. And so God had to do a revamp. But I had to be a part of the revamp. You got to be a part of the revamp. You got to be a part of it. You have to be a part of it. And a part of it is being honest. And remember, I talked about transparency. And my level of transparency may not be your level of transparency. But we're going to get you there. But first you got to start being transparent with yourself. Because you don't get here. You don't get here. If this the goal, if this is the goal, if that's the goal, then you got to make that the goal. And no matter how long it takes to accomplish it, you got to see it through. And it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to see it through. It's going to take a lot to see it through. Right? You got to move in such a way where you are dominating your day every single day to help you get there, to help you get to that spot. Because again, you can start off one way, right? You can start off one way, but that doesn't mean that's the end. And that's the point. And here on Sun Slappers, I'm only going to go to about 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You can go back, check it out. It's going to be posted on the YouTube page, things of that nature. But you have to put yourself in the space that, it's not going to be wasted. I learned some lessons in my failures. I learned some lessons in not, falling down. Just get back up. Don't stay down. And be honest with yourself. So you can be honest with people. We're going to build ourselves up and we're going to build each other up together. But I'm telling you, like, nothing you went through will be wasted. Nothing. Nothing you went through will be wasted. Say it after me. Nothing I went through will be wasted. 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 So before we, get out of here, I always like to drop a little gem on you. I like to drop a little gem on you. They can use your recipe all they want, but they will never be able to duplicate your sauce. They can use your recipe all they want, but they will never be able to duplicate your sauce. Listen, get out there and win the day. Attack, 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 attack. Get out there and win the day. And again, if you haven't had the opportunity to check out the YouTube page, go over there and check it out. I need you to go check it out. Go and check out the YouTube page right here at Mr. Trusted Process. Go and check it out for me. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate y'all, man. Listen, enjoy the day. It's the holiday weekend. Be thankful. All right? Peace.